Hi, welcome to Looking Through the Windshield. I'm Chris. I have over 28 years of driving on the road and about over 1.9 million safe miles on the road. I wanted to talk to you about one event that happened early on in my career that made me realize that truck drivers are built differently. When I was hundreds of miles away and I needed to get home for an important event, I could not do it because I was heading the opposite direction and the delivery had to be made. Most people, they never have to deal with something like that. If something happens at home, they can do just that. They can go home. We can't. You either learn to live with that or you find another job. So today I wanted to talk about what that actually means. What makes truck drivers built differently and why this job requires that type of person and it being so rare. Let me explain. One of the first things that makes truck drivers different is that we have to be fine being alone. I talked about loneliness in one of my other videos, but it goes deeper than that. You're alone for days, sometimes weeks at a time. No coworkers, no office chatter, no lunch breaks with friends. It's just you and the road. Most people today, they can't handle that. They need constant interaction. They need to have people around them. But as a truck driver, you have to be comfortable with being by yourself. Some guys, they get out here and they realize pretty quickly they can't do that. They might last a few months, maybe a year, but eventually they turn in their keys because the solitude just eats them up. But what about those of us who can handle it? We learn to actually appreciate it in a way. That time alone becomes your thinking time, your processing time. But here's the big one. And this is what separates truck drivers from most other people. It's the sacrifice. We sacrifice our home time so other people can benefit from what we do. Now, let me give you an example out of my own life. Early on in my career, I was on my way to a delivery up north, and I had told my dispatcher, hey, this date I need to be home because it was my in-laws' anniversary coming up. And for me, for many of you, home and family are very, very important. So anniversaries are a huge deal. But when it came time for me to start heading south, start heading back home, so we could, my in-laws' anniversary, my dispatcher had me heading the opposite direction. It was a hot load. It needed to be there. Every excuse under the book to not get me to where I really felt I needed to be. Those things, if you're a truck driver, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The load had to be there. You have to sacrifice. And, it's just the way trucking is. That feeling of being opposite direction of where I knew I needed to be, it gives you a certain type of hopelessness. And most people, they never experience that. They can't do anything about it because this is the industry we chose to work in. Normal people who 9-to-5 jobs and whatnot, if something happens at home, what do? They can leave work, call it in, and they can be there for whatever event that is. But when you're hundreds, maybe 1,000 miles away and this load needs to get there, guess what? You can't miss that delivery. You got to make the delivery. And you have to come to terms with that. You have to make peace with the fact that you're going to miss a lot of things, very important things, things you wish you could be there for. And that happens more than once. It happens all the time in this job. You do birthdays, anniversaries, your kids' school events, family emergencies. There's so many things that you're not going to be home for. You miss them because you're out here keeping this world moving. Not just this country, but this whole world. Every product on every shelf, every piece of food in every restaurant, it got there on a truck. And if somebody had to be away from home and away from their family, They got to make it happen so everybody else can do things they need to do. We truck drivers, we choose to be that person. And it takes a certain kind of mindset that most people just don't understand. They just don't have that mindset. And it's not just missing individual events. It's the long stretches away from home, period. Over my 28 plus years driving, I've done over the road. I've done regional loads. I've done dedicated runs. And they all have one thing in common. You're going to be away from home. If it's not just for a day, it's for a few days or sometimes even weeks at a time. Early on in my career, I was out an average of 3 months at a time, home for maybe 24 hours, and spending your whole life in that little bitty truck. You're sleeping there, you're eating there, you're dealing with traffic, weather, different customers, all while living in that small box. You have to stay sharp all the time because for me and my over 1.9 million safe miles, I can tell you every single one of those miles, a good truck driver will tell you, requires 100% of your attention all the time. You got four-wheelers cutting you off. You have weather changing all the time. You have traffic backing up. And guess what? That delivery window keeps getting shorter and shorter every time. They don't care what's going on outside. They want you there on time. And you're also taking into consideration physics. You got 40,000 plus pounds behind you. You got to worry about that and worry about traffic and weather and everything else. You can't just zone out. You really have to be present and focused mile after mile, day after day. You can't just coast through things. And that takes a type of mental toughness that you either have, you can develop, or you just don't last in this industry. So what does all this do to a person? Well, in 28 years of this industry, you learn a lot of patience. The real kind of patience, not just waiting in line kind of patience that's temporary. This means a kind of patience where you're sitting at a shipper hours on end. Sometimes for your whole 10-hour break, you're awake, but you're still waiting to get loaded. There's nothing you can do about it. Or traffic's backed up for miles and you're just waiting for your delivery window to come to a close because you're sitting in traffic. You learn self-reliance. When something goes wrong out there in a truck, the first thing you do is not call your dispatcher. First thing you do is get out there, see if you can fix it so you can keep going. You troubleshoot it. If you can fix it, boom, you keep moving. You don't have to wait for a truck to come save you. You learn to be comfortable with yourself. Now, this is hard to do because I don't just mean comfortable being alone. I mean really getting to know yourself as a person. Because when it's just you and your thoughts out there for 10, 12, 24 hours a day, you can't hide from yourself. Some people, they don't like what they find when they're alone with themselves for that long a time. But if you can get comfortable with it, it makes you a stronger person. And here's the thing that I think really makes truck drivers different, we're being built different, is having the acceptance. We accept that we're going to miss very important things. We accept that relationships are going to be harder. This lifestyle goes against a lot of what it feels like to be humans. Our relationships are harder because that being away puts more of a strain on relationships. Sadly, truck drivers have one of the highest divorce rates in the country, let alone probably the world. And it's not that we don't want to be with our loved ones. It's the industry. It's the job we chose to put bread on our table, takes us away from home for so long. We're social creatures. We're supposed to be around people. We're supposed to be home at nights. We're supposed to be there for all those important moments. Our little kids' first words, their first time taking the training wheels off the bicycle, the first home run, whatever it is. We're supposed to be there for those moments. But we accept this is our job. and we can't always do that. We make peace with it because we understand what we do really does matter. We keep the world moving, and without truck drivers, everything ends. Everything stops. And someone has to do this job. And I joke around that I will always have a job because people need their toilet paper and their Cheerios. So we will always have a job out there, but it takes sacrifice. And that is a huge weight that we come to terms with. And we know that that kind of sacrifice and that kind of mindset, most people truly can't understand, but we take that weight on our shoulders. So this is what I mean, that truck drivers are just built differently. It's not about being tougher or better than anyone else. It's about having a mindset, a way of being that this job requires. And most people either don't have it or don't want it. We're comfortable being alone for long periods of time. We're willing to sacrifice time with our families so that everyone else can have what they need when they need it. We're able to handle long stretches away from home without falling apart. And like I've said, after 28 years and over 1.9 million safe miles, just this job basically has made me who I am. It has taught me things about myself that I would never have learned doing anything else. And I have done quite a bit before I started holding that steering wheel. It's definitely taught me patience. It's definitely taught me a lot of self-reliance. And it's taught me how to be comfortable right here in my own skin. It has cost me a lot of things. I have missed many important moments in life. I've sacrificed time that I will never get back. But I've also gained things. I've gained a different perspective on life. I've gained strength and inner strength that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. And some people would say I've gained some character, and these things I wouldn't have traded for anything else. So if you're watching this and you're a new truck driver and you already know what I'm talking about, you live it every single day. Well, hold on to that steering wheel and keep them wheels turning. If you're not a truck driver or you're thinking about becoming a truck driver, maybe this gives you a little bit of insight into what we deal with out here. Next time you see a truck on the highway, just remember, that driver's probably missing something very important at home right now. They're out here alone dealing with things that you just can't see. All of this so you can have what you need. Well, that's it for this one. If you've got something out of this video, please like, subscribe. I've got over 28 years worth of stories and maybe some lessons to share. And as you can see, I'm just getting started on this channel. So if you see me out there looking through the windshield, make sure you honk and wave hi. Until next time, you know where I'll be looking through the windshield. Now, do yourself a favor. You'll say either here or here. Since I'm making the video, I don't know where it's going to be. Might be some suggested videos that you can watch. Please, if you're so inclined, take a minute to watch. Please comment. I do appreciate it, and I do answer comments. So please, feel friendly. Pop in a comment. Let me know your viewpoint. Let me know maybe some things that you've missed, and maybe we can have a discussion on the things that truck drivers have missed at home because being built differently, we were out here sacrificing. Until next time, bye.